Welcome to The Vault with Financielle. This is a safe space where we talk all things life and money and no topics are off limits. Happy podcast day.
Happy podcast
Happy
day.
Thursday.
How are we doing today?
How are you doing today?
I'm quite sleepy.
We've threatened to get Lucy a monster, as Lydia suggested, from the corner shop, but Lucy gets a jitters from a cup of tea.
A sniff of coffee.
A sniff of coffee. So we won't be giving a monster because we don't know how it would go. It's a social experiment.
I've yet to have a caffeinated coffee in 2025.
What?
And I'm going to make it the whole year.
Wow. What are you replacing it with? You used to have a coffee every morning, didn't you?
I used to have a coffee every morning. Okay. This is what I'm having at the moment. And it's basically a baby chino, but it's just... Right, so I hate protein shakes, like cold protein shakes. And I'm like, well, I could just put my milk and my protein in my milk frother. Because that's what I do with my coffee anyway. So I make like a
warm
little
milkshake.
protein coffee, and I'm like, well, I'll just do it without the coffee. And yeah, it's like a little vanilla milk.
Ooh,
It's a milkshake. Oh no, milkshakes are cold.
Talking of
Yeah,
baby
like-
chinos, Neil dragged me and the kids, it was your child actually, out of Starbucks the other day because we went in and ordered a baby kind of 2 baby chinos, The person put 1 baby chino in. Was it £5 something, or is that
No.
too much?
No, it wasn't. I think it was like
$3.75 or something.
joking?
maybe
each.
$3.50, $3.75.
I think it was, over $3.50, $3.75. And he saw it go on, and then they put another one on, and Neil was like, "Excuse me, I've asked for a baby chino." He was like, "Is that how much are they? $3.75 each?" And the guy was like, "Yeah," and he was like, "This is ridiculous. Right, kids, we're going to Costa. See you and then just left me at the till speaking to the man. So then I felt guilty and awkward. So bought 2 gingerbread biscuits for the kids, of which were like £2.50 each. So because I felt awkward that Neil just walked off. And then afterwards, and then the guy was like, "We don't make the prices." I was like, "Oh God."
How much are they in Costa?
Are they like 80p or something?
I have no
I
idea.
thought they were free. I've never ordered
No, I
one.
think they were about less than a pound. Less than a pound. $3.75.
Be more Neil.
Would you wouldn't
Yeah.
drink that? Would Albie? Would she have drunk it?
Yeah,
Maybe
she would
it'd
have
taken
done.
her 3 days, but she'd have
I
drunk
just
it.
googled it.
Go on.
Go on.
Milk baby chino in Costa. It says £3.40.
Nah, it's definitely not because my mum takes all
Maybe
the
they
kids
gave
for
you a
them.
cheeky one. Yeah, but Mum would pay that.
No,
she definitely would.
no, I've been in, and it's not that.
we know you're watching.
Oh, well, Mum
I want to
would.
see the receipts because you get a lot of Costa
No,
points.
because I think I told her about the Starbucks one, and she was like, "No way, it's definitely not that."
Maybe sometimes cheeky baristas give you like a nice one if like
Yeah.
you're already buying coffees and stuff because we've got the evidence. Like we've
I'm on
just
the Costa
Googled
website.
Yeah,
on the Costa website.
it's just froth. What Starbucks? Ridiculous. Well,
I'd
anyway,
have given it for free when I worked in a coffee
See?
shop.
Yeah, me
It's been
too.
long enough now that I can admit that.
yeah, I'm not going to get cancelled.
I think we've told this story before, but one of Holly's friends used to give, if people asked for skimmed milk, she'd give them full fat and vice versa. If they asked for full fat and she felt they might have needed a skimmed, she used to give them skimmed, which thankfully doesn't have an allergy issue because we've got a whole host of issues.
This was like 20 years ago. She obviously felt very self-righteous, like,
the power of the barista.
"You want a skinny milk? No problem.
full fat
Cream.
You're pretty and thin. I'm going to give you
Literally. I think that's what it was. Pretty and thin, you're getting whole milk." I was safe to say I was safe. No threat to anyone. Yeah, so Neil stormed out over a baby chino.
Oh my God.
Literally, and the man was like, "We don't make the prices." Okay, I'll give you money. I was like, throw money at the problem. I'll have 2 of those tiny, that big, no word of a
Should we
lie,
go on to the Pound Bakery
gingerbread
for
men.
gingerbread?
And Neil's like, "There's a Greg's there." I was like, "Oh God, I've paid the man now. I'm not returning." Can you imagine?
Oh my
My
God.
husband said I need to return these biscuits. I'd rather die. I'm not into that confrontation in the shop. No. I'll buy my way out the problem.
I would do the same
It is
to
funny
avoid the
though,
awkwardness.
that limit of
What's acceptable?
What would you
fine.
just tap your card?
What's been like your biggest, like Dubai's quite, we've talked about going to Dubai on holiday when it's like £16 for a glass of wine. And
Oh my
this
God.
was 8 years ago, even with Teddy when we first went, maybe a bit less. It was
what's
a
the
little
question,
bit.
though, is it what's the one that like
What's the one that
it made you feel stings, but you were like
still
happy
paid
to do it,
anyway?
or one that you I don't know. I mean, mine's always been the Paris drinks. Like I'll never forget the Paris drinks on my 30th. Like £45 for a little bottle of beer, tiny bottle of beer
Two.
for one.
£45 for one.
€45, sorry, which was
Oh my God.
pretty much. So we went to, I can't remember if I told you this story before, so sorry viewers, listeners, if you've heard this before, but for my 30th, went to Paris with my husband, and my amazing friend Angela told me about, there's hardly any rooftop bars in Paris because it's quite old as a city. Like they didn't have them back in the Revolution. It wasn't like the thing. And so she was telling me there's only a couple, but there's a really good one that only opens for 8 weeks a year in basically all of August, maybe a week in July, a week in September, at the Shangri-La, which has an amazing view of the Eiffel Tower and the Trocadero and stuff. So it's absolutely fab. It's up a hill and you go into it, and I walked in and I was like, they said, oh, can we help you? And I was like, oh, you know, you're like Pretty Woman moment, like, I'm not a prostitute and I do belong here. And I was like, oh yeah, have you got the rooftop bar? They were like, oh yeah, no, I'll take you. And I was like, oh, that's nice. You could have just directed us. So this guy's got a card key and he's taken us up the lift and down a corridor and left and right and left and right. And this is where you're like, is he the bellboy? Like, is he the doorman, in the nice outfit, or is he going to murder us? Because where are we going?
Yeah.
I was like, I can't come back to the toilet. I can't find out where I am. And then he puts a key in a door to go in a bedroom. So I'm still like,
he's going to kill us.
But again, I'm like, we don't say anything like,
we're too polite.
We're English, they're French.
I'll come in first.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
I'll suss it out.
We walked in. And we were going in a room. So we walked and there's a bathroom on the left with a bath in it. And I'm like, okay, there's the bathroom. And we walk into the main
my shallow grave.
bedroom. And where the bedroom was or is meant to be is a bar. So they turn it into a bar, and it's got a terrace. And basically this bar can fit about 20 people inside and outside. And I walked out to the terrace and the Eiffel Tower was there.
Oh my God.
In front of us. So I was paying anything.
Yeah.
I just didn't.
Yeah.
So there was no prices on menus. So I was like, I'll have a glass
Always
of rosé.
fun.
And my husband said, I'll have a beer. And I got a glass of rosé. And he got a beer, and it was, I don't know what centiliter it was, but a little bottle of Heineken or something tiny. And the bill came, and it was €90 before a tip. And so I was thinking, the wine, like I've just obviously picked a really expensive wine.
Me.
I'll have a beer. 2 more beers, please, before we go. 2 more beers. No. Every drink was 45
Oh my
God.
God.
And the ending of that story, apart from the fact that I always talk about it, it was definitely worth it. It was like gulp to pay for it.
That's like a ticket. You paid for a ticket.
We just paid for
Yes,
access
you know,
to
like,
under the tower when it sparkles.
You can't see it as the drink. You got free drinks. You paid for a ticket
We
to
paid
go
for a
and
ticket for the best,
VIP
the
experience.
best, what's it called? Roof terrace in Paris.
And the drinks were free.
The closing point was we then walked to go under the tower for the next time it was sparkling. And there's loads of men selling buckets of 5 beers for €10, and it was the same Heineken, just a bit warmer than we'd had. It was the same size, and we got 5 for €10. So then we drank warm ones underneath. So it evened itself out.
Yeah.
But sometimes, again, it really, really helps when, imagine if like you've not got the money. We had the money for that trip, it was budgeted. When there's something out your budget and it's just going to blow the whole thing, like what do you do? Do you hand the money over? Do you not? Because I always talk about how expensive that was, but it wasn't that expensive in the context of a Paris trip, and I loved it. Like, what would you do if
it's not my story to tell, but she will be listening, so she'll laugh when I see her at the hair. One of our hairdressers, I'm not going to say who it was, went into a shop and saw like her dream coat, and it was she dresses so well. She's got such a good, cool fashion sense. It was like a furry blue coat, and it sounds
like Monsters Inc.
Yeah, but she looked amazing. Like this picture in it, it's amazing. It's the coat. It's just like a statement piece.
Yeah.
And she was just like, I'm going to have that. And then took a view on everything else. And I know the shop that she's talking about, guessed in her head how much it would be because of how she knew that the jumpers tend to be like 30 quid, the t-shirts tend to be under 20.
Yeah,
like
benchmarked it a little bit.
Yeah, she was like, so in her head, she was going like, maybe maximum 100, could be 75, maybe 80. And she was like, I'll get it. Didn't even look at the price, put it on. I think it was 170 quid. And I was like, so obviously you said, oh, sorry, it's just not on my budget. And she was like, nope. She was like, I felt so awkward that I bought the coat. I think she wore it twice.
It's almost better to get it and then return it and be like,
oh, yeah, just not tried it on. I was like, so did you take it home and try it on and then go back and return it? She was like, no, I just couldn't. I was just, you feel the mortification yourself.
Yeah.
But the other person has no idea that you're in that predicament. So sometimes you have to just suck it up and be like, oh no, sorry, it's out of my budget. I thought I read it wrong on the tag or something, but it was so British.
Yeah.
I felt like any other culture would be like, 170 quid, are you joking? You're like, they'd have that conversation.
Whereas she probably threw sunglasses on and went, I'll have them as well.
Yeah.
Well, if anyone can pull it off, it's
who we're talking about. Yeah.
Entering her.
I expect to see you in it next
She might
time.
be disappointed that I didn't out her, but...
If I know her, she may have vinted it already, to be fair.
Oh, no, I think she sold it. She said, when I saw her not long after, a few months after, I think she was doing a clear out, and she was like, it's gone. She was like, it's a mental stain on my brain.
So the moral of the story is there's 2 points. If it's absolutely worth it and it's in the budget, just like talk about it forever like I did, but don't worry. Or be more Neil and say, nope, come on kids,
Storm
we're
out.
going. Woo-hoo,
Make an exit.
Storming out like the Von Trapp
And
family.
I just stood there quivering at the thing of all the people to leave in an awkward situation. It's not your wife, Neil.
And you still bought gingerbread.
Bought my way out the problem.
Hey-ho.
Okay, time for controversial opinion. I feel like this is controversial. People are too obsessed with retirement. And I've put in brackets here, it's okay to enjoy life now and worry about the future later.
I'm obsessed for like a chill time of my life where you don't work and you exercise and you go for coffee with your friends, and I'm obsessed with that time of life.
I can't think
Maybe
of many
not
retired
preparing
people
for
that
retirement.
do it, apart from my mum. She's having a great time.
Well, she's still working.
When I
She's
think-
retirement age, but she's not retired.
Yeah, when I think about
She's not quite retired.
what retirement used to look like.
But I think the question is about, I've derailed that really, because you meant people are obsessed with preparing for, like save for later rather than like live your life now.
Mm-hmm.
There's quite a few examples. I've chatted to people in the past couple of months really, especially in the run up to Christmas, who've lost people young. I don't mean obviously like young, as in like way younger than they should have passed away. You know, we're talking whether it be like 30s or 40s or early 60s, completely healthy. And, you know, and that's happened obviously for decades, but it makes you reassess if you're that person. What's the point? Like, you know, they use a loved one who have saved or invested or just done all these things all these years, done everything right, done everything that everyone said they should have done.
Yeah, like ticked all the boxes.
And then they don't live to kind of enjoy that. I do think that today's society has got a lot better at this concept of balance, where, you know, you still get busy, you're still stressed, and but that like time's going and you should enjoy life now. Don't slog away and think that there's then a sudden moment, because actually, well, lots of people hit retirement and they do really struggle. Like they miss work, they miss social, they have to have like, you have to pack your day, and actually a lot of people at the moment can't even afford to do that. So you can understand why people go, what's the point? It's a long way off and I might not even get there anyway. I might as well make sure I've enjoyed myself.
You tend to find a lot of people that have that mindset though are ones that haven't got any of the shit together. So I feel like it's like self-preservation. Like I've not got a pension, I've not got this, and I think you should be worried about it. You should be putting something in place, because you either going to pass away early, which wouldn't be the ideal thing, so then you don't have to worry about it, or you're going to be living through retirement really struggling and not living a life that is reflective of all the hard work that you've put in years before, because you're kind of living for the moment. And I think people do use that as a bit of an excuse, like, oh, live, laugh, love, like we'll laugh about it all the time. People just use that as an excuse to buy things that they is putting them out of affordability or whatever it might be. But yeah, retirement, I think it is self-preservation when people say, don't worry about it. It's like, well, what's your pension look like? Oh, I haven't got one because I'm property's my pension. Every time me and Laura are like,
yeah. What do you guys think? Because you're younger than us, and you know,
seems so far away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always say that, but when I talk with Alex, I'm like I'm 25 and I'm like, my dad is, I don't know, 53, 54, I'm going to say. And I'm like, he's going to retire in the next like 2 years. And I'm like, that's not far away. Like everyone, I'd take all of the advice that older people tell me. I'm like, I do take this seriously. Like everyone's like, it comes around fast. And I'm like, I know it will come around fast. So I think not being obsessed with it. Mm-hmm. I think the whole like FIRE movement, like just working to literally like retire and like then scrape by. I don't like that. But
have you heard of Fat Fire?
No, what's that?
Fat FIRE. So FIRE, obviously, financial independence, retire early. The way that most people end up being able to do that is just as you've described. They have an incredibly lean lifestyle, no fun, super frugal. Like there's blogs and stuff about how frugal you can get with it, so that you invest. But then you pot that can sustain you. Then when you stop work, it's usually quite lean. So you have to continue that lifestyle, but you don't need to work. Fat FIRE is, I want to live a comfortable life. So fat FIRE is, yes, you might go without a little bit earlier on, but what it means is you're building the bigger pot because you're not willing to then get there and still struggle. So I like the concept.
Yeah,
of
I do
fat
like
Should
that.
be
I
a means
prefer
to
that.
an end, that shouldn't it? Whereas, like you said, carry on that lean retirement.
Yeah.
Like everyone always dreams about taking bucket list trips, and I always think, how many people actually do that? All the people we know when they get to retirement and the dreams that they have. When I retire, and then they end up just kind
When
of
I was
going
younger,
through the motions.
I used to think my granddad was a golfer. Like that was his job.
Pro job.
Because he's
Pro
obviously
golfer.
just retired and golfing and also going on all of these crazy trips. And I used to say, literally, like when I was in primary
golfer.
school, people would say, "Oh, what do you want to be on your?" Oh, like, I retired. Because I thought that was just like a thing.
because you were watching, so that is someone that lives out
Do you remember
a
when-
good
Yeah.
retirement.
What did you used to call the bungalows? The pensioners.
Oh, pensioners. Pensions
She used
or
to-
bungalows.
She's come a long way on Financielle, Lucy, because she first thought that the bungalows
I
were
think that
pensions.
literally every time I'd go
That's
home
where the
and
pensioners
drive
live.
past them all, like by my dad's house. There's all the pensions.
The pensioners live in the pensions. But also, credit to your dad, the number of people who are able to retire if they want to so early.
Yeah.
Like that
Yeah.
now is no age, is it? It's just...
Well, he's literally been at the same job since he was like 16.
Wow.
Yeah, and a good employer that
Yeah.
does contribute a lot to a pension. I think this is the maths game that not everyone understands or gives consideration to. You know, your self-employed builder right now is not getting the benefit. They might be getting some benefit, their own business and, you know, tax efficiencies and stuff, flexibility, but your dad worked for a big employer, worked there a long time. Pensions were really good a few years ago, even if they've tailed off later. Sorted himself, like literally has not worked any harder than other people. No offense,
Yeah,
Dad.
Yeah.
So,
something to
Yeah.
be said. I think we've had
Circumstance.
that either dilemma or the controversial opinion before where about staying in a job, and everyone's like, "Oh, you should, move around." Blah blah blah. Your dad's like, "No, you shouldn't," because I'm literally about to retire in a
like,
couple
it's like
months.
the content creation dream. So there's a couple, like when you in the internet, especially social media, when you see people going, I left my job and became a content creator, and I can help you become one too. And I was like, so that's how you make money. You actually sell courses or something, not actually helping generally.
Content creation.
But content creation, they go, on one post, I can make, that was my wage. Just how often do people genuinely go like for like on the numbers and go, actually, that's the post, that's gross. I need to pay tax, I need to pay national insurance, which everyone always goes on tax rate. I'll put my tax aside. I'm like, well, national insurance is like almost as much, not as much as tax, but on the lower end, it's quite a chunky amount. What about your pensions? What about any extra benefits? Then tell me like for like. I'm definitely against being self-employed and being independent and a freelancer. I love it. I love it when people can really make it work for them. But do the math, because it's...
how many hours are you working?
I always
and how
feel
much
like
are you left with?
I'm so interested to see how the whole like content creator lifestyle will span out, because it's obviously such a new industry.
And it feels saturated. Like every other person is like, I'm going to help you become a content creator. And it is like everything that ends up being like a recruitment business, it always comes back to these like pyramid style scheme,
courses,
MLM.
digital marketing.
And
Like I said, I
everything
think
comes back to that.
At least if you become a freelancer in your particular field, whether it's like media or marketing or tech, whatever it is, you'll hopefully have got into it with more of a regimented, like I put this away and I do this.
Yeah.
It's more when it's like glamorized and, I've never done this before, I'll have a good go. But yeah, a lot of those people and how flexible the workforce is right now aren't preparing for retirement. I like it when retirement's prepared for kind of accidentally, at least at first, and you load into it later so that you do feel like you're living your life.
Yeah, I feel like it's balance.
It is
just with
balance.
everything, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, time for dilemma number 1. My car finance journey was nearly over. Hi girls. I discovered Financielle via the podcast and I'm a very new member of the community. Me and my husband managed to save for a house and get married in the last 4 years, but the last year has been really financially difficult due to a lack of emergency savings. I was in a car accident recently. Another driver pulled out of a junction and drove into my driver's side door, and sadly the car is a total loss. This car was on finance. I had 1 year left of the finance plan ending in September 2025, and we had planned on saving the balloon payment of £4,000 to be free of car finance. My insurance is covering the finance and I will have around £3,000 left over from the payout. I have a relatively small mini emergency fund of £1,000 but no other savings, as me and my husband have spent the last year trying to pay off a £5,000 loan for essential house repairs. Since finding the app and the podcast, we have both committed to being debt-free and have recently paid off and cancelled credit cards. These weren't huge debts, we were just using them to live beyond our means. My husband has a car that we fully own and we have been sharing this. However, due to me needing a car as part of my work, sharing a car isn't a long-term solution. I've made a personal injury claim for bruising and whiplash from the crash, but I'm yet to find out if I will be given any compensation. If I did get any money, I would add this to the £3,000 from the insurance. I feel lucky that my injuries weren't more significant. However, I'm feeling frustrated that my car finance journey was nearly over, and now it feels like I'm going to have to take out another finance agreement. Any advice on how to navigate this? Or do I just have to accept that I need to take another car out on finance?
Oh, so just correct me if I'm wrong. I'm looking at Laura because she's the car finance queen. The money that she got from the insurance, she's not going to get another car out. Like the car's gone.
No, and this, yeah, exactly. So this, we're being a bit presumptuous, but this helps to highlight that when you buy a car on finance, you pay way over the odds. Especially if it's brand new, like you get no discount. There's no deals. It's never 0%. Like I've said, less than 5% of car finance deals are 0%. So if you imagine like it not being a car, but like a handbag, you've paid full price plus a premium plus this, like it is the most expensive way that you could possibly have bought it because there's no discounts whatsoever. And you financed that. And then what clearly has happened here is, so the finance like debt kind of comes down a little bit. You've got this balloon payment at the end that obviously we're close to, but the car's dropped too much in value. So all an insurer would do is give you like face value for that car, typically what it would cost to replace. And so what's happened is she's been given a settlement, which sounds like of around 7. So it sounds like they've thought the car's worth 7. You've 4. It's a little more than that because it sounds like she's got a year left of finance. Think about that. She's got a year left of finance payments and then she was going to be paying 4.
Yeah.
So that's like 5. It's going to be more than that. But let's say it's like 6. Let's say that's 6. And then there's another 3 that they've given her as well. So it's like they valued the car at 9, if I'm understanding this correctly. So forgive me if I don't. But what it means is she's been given that to go buy another car, but she didn't own that car. No, obviously it had finance on it. Yeah. So she, if she'd have owned the car outright, and this is the more important example to show someone, she'd have 9 now. If the car was worth 9 and it isn't drivable, you get a 9 payout, you go buy one for 9. Problem with finance is the value of the car is completely not connected to the money that you owe. So she's left in a situation where she's got 3. But fair play, you've been doing really good.
So the remaining money is going to be put aside to pay for that balloon payment that was coming.
I think it's covered. I think the balloon payment's been covered in the payout.
Okay.
I think what she's saying because she said the payout settles the finance. So it could be worse, but I think it settles the balloon as well.
But she's left with
She's got 3.
She's got 3, and that's not going to buy. I get the impression that she's going to have to.
She says it won't. It will do if she wants it to. Like I could go get a car for 3
That's
grand
what I was
today.
thinking. So she could. I know she said I'm going to have to take another finance car, but from that, I'm feeling like she doesn't need to. She could buy a second-hand car.
It'd be tough. It sounds like you can definitely get a car
and
for
build
3.
a sinking fund in the background to buy a new car when the time comes.
It sounds like they were doing perfect playbook because they might have had, may or may not, and it'd be good to know if they had a mini emergency fund of maybe 1 month's expenses because that might be a little bit of extra money to top up the car fund with.
Yeah, they had £1,000 mini emergency fund.
Perfect. And that is mini, I would say, like especially that we'd want that a little bit higher. What's your minimum 1 month's expenses? Often people start with 1,000, but nudging it up. But they could put that with the 3 if they've got that option. Her husband has a car, so they've got, and it doesn't talk about how old that is or how reliable, but there is another one and she needs one. So she's just highlighted the right thing, which is if only I'd have had emergency savings. Like the peace of mind that having chunks of cash brings you. I know it's like, sounds obvious.
But it's not. None of us were brought up to.
Yeah.
Everyone saves for something. We always talk about it. It's like you're saving up for a house renovation, a holiday, a kitchen, something tangible. Whereas having emergency savings for something that you don't know is going to happen, that pulls the rug from under you, that makes you rely on credit. It's unmatched. Like I think you were talking to Tolu on one of your Unlocked pod episodes, and she was like, and I tell everyone, don't, like I did it the wrong way around, because she had to then dip into credit when she needed to bridge the gap on something. She was like, that feeling of dipping into emergency savings when you've never had it before is unbelievable.
And I remember when we were talking about, and a couple of episodes ago, our Starling fixed ones maturing, and I was DMing a couple of people, and I like it when people forget they've got stashes.
Yeah.
Do you know, like I know I've got an emergency fund, but because they're activating these rates and they're spreading it around, that's why your net worth's quite important, because sometimes you might go, oh, shit, I've got an extra $5,000. That is goals. And that's where this, like, you know, dilemma writer is going to get to, because she and her husband just sound so focused. What's happened is life's hit them just at the end of the car finance journey. But this is not the moment to go back into car finance. No. It's going to set you back. If anything,
it's a sign for you to not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
like,
so true.
This is your sign.
It's really exciting. And so like, I would definitely like $3,000 from the insurance company, hopefully another 1,000. That's 4. Go out to market with 4 and see what you can get, because you could even set yourself like, this is a 6 month car, you know, do some work and find out what's a good car that doesn't, a $4,000 car's not going to drop much in value. I reckon in 6 months you could probably sell it for $4,000 if you look after it. Mm-hmm. You know, get someone to check it out with you if you're unsure, but get one, and then the next 6 months you hammer that savings, because you've no car finance payment going out, so your excess is going to go up, and you build it up and build it up and build it up, and that's it's your emergency fund, because that's what you have to build up first. And then in 6 months' time, if you believe that this is still classed as emergency for you and you're not happy with the $4,000 car and you want to move up in car again, use the emergency fund to upgrade again.
I can guarantee you'll be like, I'm not spending more money on a car. So if this car might break down, then I will build up a sinking fund for servicing, for new tyres, for all those wonderful things, because that's going to be much less than it is to save up for then a brand new car again. And you've still got, it sounds like a little bit of debt to pay off.
Yeah,
if I'm right.
a little bit.
Yeah.
I feel like this car is going to get a name.
Yeah, we're going to love the car.
You name cars of this age.
You're going to get like fluffy dice, and you're just going to embrace it. Yeah. People are like, eyelashes on the headlights.
But yeah, embrace it. Like, where I love it when people use their cars as like a badge of honor to the debt-free journey. Like, nope. It's fine. Yeah. Like I you know, I mean, a big trick. This wasn't intentional, but I have a personalized reg on mine, and it's a good car. It's an Evoque. It is a 2014 model. Looks, I mean, they come out now and they're really nice, but I'm like, fine. It looks good. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, no one looks and goes, that's an almost 11-year-old car.
No one cares.
No, like,
does anyone care?
No, I can't even tell. Alex goes, oh, that's a 25
and you're
plate.
Like,
and I'm like, what's up?
Neil's so proud of his vintage car. Like, people, his friends make fun of him, and he's like,
well, it's not vintage like classic. It's like old.
But he doesn't care.
I love
it. The first car I get, I want it to be the worst car on the road. Like,
okay,
because it's always better to do that than get like a middle of the range car. Like,
I want to go on your car journey. I think we go with cash. We should film it, Lydia. Like, I've got it all planned out. It's going to be like, we buy any car but live, and we're going to kick tyres, even though we don't know what that means.
That feels fine.
What treads that tyre? Is that what they say?
Well, hopefully a legal tread, but
windscreen wipers are nice. Like,
and I'm gonna have like a fluffy.
Oh no!
I don't know what it was called.
So steering wheel
cover.
Jesus.
I mean, we've not done our theory. I don't think yet. We're still doing our theory test, aren't we? But when I picked my eldest up from rugby training the other day, and she was like, "Wouldn't it be good if we?" Because my mum's got the same car, but hers has a TV in it, but mine is like absolute bog standard one. I was like, "No, mine doesn't." She said we could put DVDs in. I was like, "Okay, well, how do you know what a DVD is?" And she was like, "I've seen them before." And I was like, "No, it doesn't do that." And she pressed a few buttons, and she was like, "See, DVD." So I think my car has had a DVD, and I've had it like
of all the children that have been in Laura's car,
With all the years we've done long trips and everything, Ava's gone, you could just we could watch, she loves Doctor Who at the moment, so we could put Doctor Who, and I'm like,
God.
excellent. But again, who knows? I don't care. It's a car. And so, I think you're doing amazing. I love this dilemma. It's helped to highlight exactly what she said. She's doing the right thing. She doesn't need to go back into finance. No. The one, if someone, now I never say go into debt, but if this answer was, I've got $1,000.
Yeah, different story.
Even 2, and actually practically you just don't think that's going to get you the car that you need. And I'm not talking about going getting a 10, but look at 4 or 5, I think you can do. Getting a car loan for the difference is the way that you do it.
Is that the best if you've got
because
to?
You're not tight. Well, so firstly, what you've done there, this is a crucial point of understanding what's wrong with car finance. You've divided up the car purchase and the finance, because when you tie them together, you buy something more than you can afford.
Yeah.
When they're separate things, when you look at, I am willing to pay $4,000 for that car.
Look at it in isolation. Yeah.
I need a loan for 2. I've talked about it on the BBC recently, credit unions and really accessible loans that don't need to be crazy prices, interest rates. Then you've made a conscious decision to buy that level of car. The minute you get into car finance, look at the monthly payment.
Yeah,
don't look
different.
at the,
bring me the Audi, bring me the BMW.
400.
You're so right. So many people have written in the community over the past few months, get a car loan. I got a car loan instead. And it's much more freeing because you're like, I'm just knocking down that
pay it
debt.
off whenever you want.
Whereas I think car finance is shrouded in mystery.
Yeah, do you reckon,
in mystery.
say I want to go and buy a car right now and I wanted something and it was like £250 a month. Would I, throughout that whole process from me like driving out in this car, would I be told like the full price that I would pay? Do you think?
It'll be buried somewhere on a really long document.
We've all been there. Paperwork's like 20 pages. Sign there.
Because they have to set out the cost of finance, and so it will show you. And like I said, the people used to think that you get a discount if you were paying in cash, and they're like, no, we actually want you to pay in finance because we make more. But they make markup on the car. Mm-hmm. But then, so say we'll do BMW because it's a really good example, because BMW have their own financing company. So let's pretend you've got BMW, I've got a car, there's a 20% margin in it, that's $5,000 profit for them, that's BMW. BMW finance then go, do you want a loan to buy that car? Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. And they go, cost of loan, it's this is our profit. They might make another 5 because they've doubled it, because they've priced up the car and made a profit, and then they've done the finance. We've not done Unlocked on it. I've just suddenly realised we were talking about Unlocked yesterday and about things to do, and I don't think we've done car finance.
Deep dive, because like I said, it's shrouded in mystery. With the when we talk about phone and phone contracts and paying for the piece and then paying for the finance contract,
have it separate.
They have to do that now, don't they? And I just don't think that car finance has as much clarity, and people are in a hell of a lot of debt. We talked about COVID when people got the cars sat on the drive and they're paying out nearly a mortgage on cars, and they're working from home. Like, we have to sort it. We will do an Unlocked in it. It's essential.
Okay, community win time. I just wanted to say a huge thank you to Financielle and the community here. Since joining, I've successfully paid off one of my credit cards, and I feel so much calmer about my money situation in general. I feel like I'm in a much better place, and it's really helping my mental health. I also feel more confident about planning for the future, knowing what I can and can't afford. So today, me and my friend booked a bougie holiday to Sicily. It's the bougiest holiday I've been on for years and totally within my budget. Paying for it won't keep me up at night or put it on another credit card, which will make it so much more fun.
Oh, you're going to enjoy that holiday
Fresh
so much.
pasta.
Yeah, the best holiday.
Big glasses of wine.
Knowing that you paid for it is like a flex.
I always forget when it's payday. Other than I get excited about doing the budget, when you are actually in quite a good space, and I always say that for people, like, I want you to not be desperate for payday, other than you're excited to kind of do your budget and stuff. So when payday came around this time, the end of the last month, so the last big payday, and the community pops off, and in the app you have to be a premium member to access the community, and you could be free at one stage, but technically it was really difficult to verify everyone coming in and not have a load of absolute
spam. We don't want you to be spammed.
So I'm really sorry, we did try. And so you have to be a paying member of the app, which is absolute pence across the year, to be in there. But when you're in there, you get notifications. And on payday on that weekend,
it goes crazy.
It's boom, 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 boom. And what it is everyone going, paid off a debt. I've paid off a debt, because you forget that what people are doing is working all month. They're sticking to the budget. They're waiting for payday.
Tracking
and then when payday comes, they're putting £400, £500, £600, £700 off credit card debt, and then they're sharing it. And I just keep thinking, for all the people that aren't sharing it, there's probably 3 or 4 doing it and reading but not sharing. If you want a dopamine hit,
you want the congratulations from everyone.
around, because you just go, oh my God, you people are amazing. And it's that feeling, that kind of, I paid off a debt. And yeah.
Do you know what? I agree with you on the payday thing, where you're not waiting for it, but I actually am at the moment, because my goal for this year was to invest more. And because I'm excited for it to grow. Like, I'm like, the longer it's in my bank account, the longer it's in my bank account, and it's such a big mindset and something that we've never done in my whole life. The longer it's in my bank account, it's going backwards. I'm like, it needs to not be in I've got a Halifax current account. God knows what it is, because I don't use it for anything. Our fixed expenses go out of it. I'm like, it needs to make money. Where am I putting it? And I'll look at the money deals blogs that come out, and I'm like, which is the best saver? And we've got cash ISAs here, and we work with Trading 212 there. And the pension, I put more in my pension this month. I've topped it up officially. So I used to do it sporadically. I would always pay into it, but now we've upped it. And I'm like, no, that's staying in the budget now. And it's just so exciting. Payday can be exciting. It doesn't have to be. I know it's exciting for different reasons.
It's exciting for Financielle. Like, everyone's like,
this is our day.
But not like, it's not thank God I was in my overdraft. It's when we're going to move on my money.
Yeah. And wouldn't it be nice to be like that? Because anyone that I've ever worked with in our old jobs and stuff, payday was exciting, because it was, I can go and spend my money again, or I've been eating beans on toast for the last week and I'm stressed.
Like, my daughter plays sport, and there's just WhatsApp groups. There's always money needed. Like, and I always under budget for it. So, you're always trying to find that extra bit of money. And we have to be so delicate. Like, some people are saying, I get paid on Friday. Can I pay then?
You won't be getting the money till then.
And you know full well that's not from bouginess. That's, we are getting to payday.
Yeah.
And so, if anyone can shift and eventually move to that point where you get to payday, it's amazing. But to then be able to get to payday and pay off a credit card or stuff, amazing.
It's chaos in that
Good
community.
Win. Yeah, it is chaos.
If you'd like to tell us your win, head to the community in the app or email it to thevault@financielle.com. Time for our final dilemma today. Do I really need a financial advisor for my pension? Hi team, I was hoping you could help me with a bit of financial wisdom. It's relating to the business I started this time last year and pensions. I'm looking to set up my pension and pay into it from my business bank account before my financial year ends, and I've left it a little late. I spoke with a financial advisor and he was lovely, but we didn't really gel. He said he could find me a pension with a 0.4% yearly fee, and his fee would be £400. I've looked online and it looks like I can easily set up a pension for myself with a fee of 0.25% and a choice of risk levels. With this in mind, my question is, do I need to use a financial advisor, or should I save myself £400 and set up a pension myself? I'd be looking to transfer £20,000 into it. Does that have any impact? Could I set up a pension myself now and then use a financial advisor towards the end of the year to see if there are better options? I'm a first-time business owner and would love your advice on this if possible.
Love that she's asking this question. It's very different as a business owner, actually. And the first thing that came into my mind actually is also speaking with your accountant. And small business accountants are fabulous for that bridge between personal finance and accounting, because when you're effectively like a solopreneur, like when it's just you, when you're kind of just working for yourself. She doesn't say that, but
I don't get the impression that she's got staff.
Yeah, because otherwise she'd have to do it for them as well, to be fair. There's a balance here between personal finance and accounting finance. And there's a couple of different ways that you can pay into a pension as a self-employed or as a business owner. You can you pay via the business, and it goes into, you still set up a personal pension, really. You wouldn't set up a business employee scheme if you don't have employees. But you can do it via the business and the business pays into it, or you just take your wage and you pay in yourself. And that's kind of the same effect for your pension. There's no difference typically for your pension. You can ask your accountant though on things like employer contributions. Would this be appropriate for employer contributions or not? Again, it depends how your business is structured. But the other thing is paying out of the business can sometimes reduce corporation tax. So again, this is all stuff that wouldn't be relevant for the financial advisor. The financial advisor wants to work with the money that you pay yourself. That's how they would structure it. I don't know many that would lean into the business finances. Really, it's much more about, okay, the cash that you've got, where should we put it and how should we grow it? So my inclining would actually be sit down with an accountant, small business accountant first. I'm sure she's got one if she's a year in, and navigate that first. How am I going to pay into my pension? I'm going to do it from the business. I'm going to do it from me. What's the most effective way? Because if you do make a really good profit, it can be a way of reducing that corporation tax. So once she knows that, you then sit there and go, okay, where shall I put it? So then when we think about, do I need a financial advisor? Not at the levels she is thinking, but there's a couple of points to make here. One, she said she didn't gel with him. So no, like we're not vibing. This is like a hairdresser conversation. We want you to be able to find a financial advisor that you know, like, and trust, that you can pick up the phone. And what I don't know is if this is 20 grand in savings, like it could be because it's 20 grand in the business account or whatever. Again, you need to work out how to get that out of the business. Or if it's a regular amount, like, you know, that's a pretty hefty amount to put in. You might want to pay £400 to sit down with someone to do that session and to know where it goes. And actually, sometimes you can pay for help and then not put it where they say. You can put it into your own SIP. So you could find a 0.25% platform or even less than that sometimes, but have had the advice. So there's that option. Or if you're pretty confident, most of the self-invested personal pensions, the SIPs on most of the big platforms would guide you through the risk. And again, it's all, for me, it's all about how you feel. Sometimes it's better paying for that help up front once.
Peace of mind, done.
Just
so you're doing the right thing.
Get the accountant, get the financial advisor. Does this all work in the right, like, am I doing it in the right way? And then you're done. And you, like I said, you don't always have to put money with the financial advisor. You can put it wherever you fancy. But I'm just glad a business owner is finally saying, what should I do with my pension? Because
I think the accountant point's great. And like, we do have employees, so we do have an accountant that helps us, but definitely on the pension front, they help us set all that up. So I would say for now, it doesn't feel like you need a financial advisor until, like Laura says, if there's significant wealth coming to you as an individual, then you would, because you don't want to be missing out on a trick and you could be missing something. And we would hate for you to kind of miss that opportunity if you felt like you needed it. But if it's purely from do I need to set up a SIP? You could probably speak to your accountant about that and then self-serve even, or they could help you.
Depends on your needs. There's two reasons. There's one that it's like a volume of wealth, either a chunk or a pace that it's going in, that it really, or you've got a particular circumstance that it merits proper planning from a qualified person, or you're unsure. I'm happy paying more if I'm unsure. Do you know, like a regulated person that can walk me through it? That's like my fee. I'm going to, just like how you wouldn't go to a PT that doesn't know what they're doing, that you've just found like on Facebook. You're going to go do some research and find someone that knows what they're doing, that's qualified. You pay for it. But I like the ongoing point about fees is interesting. Sometimes it's still worth paying the higher fee to be looked after, but it's normally not that much more. 0.4 is not too bad actually. Sometimes you get like a 0.4 or 0.5 and then you get a percentage fee as well going forwards, not like a 400 one-off. So it doesn't sound like a good deal, but she didn't vibe with him. Pick a different one.
No,
You've got to go with who you vibe with, because you want to be transparent, open, share your worries. You know.
They have to pass the vibe test.
They have to pass the vibe test. You need to be able to
be vulnerable,
say anything vulnerable without judgment. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, it's a very British thing. We talked about a lot of British stuff on this program today.
And there will be ones out there, like we know some really good financial advisors that would be amazing for people. So you have to vibe with them.
For a fee, we'll tell you who they are. No, I'm kidding.
Okay, any final words?
Not today, I don't think.
The car finance point, we'll come back. We'll come back with more content on that.
Yeah.
We'll very corporate.
We'll come back. We could go forever on car finance, and I always talk about people just go ham on TikTok because they're like, I've got one, and like they're very bit catty, to be honest.
Yeah,
just gonna put it out there. A bit catty comments, and the catty comment
hands
people
together. She'll be like, we'll get some comments on this one.
The catty comment people are all on car finance, and they don't like to be told that they might not be in the best financial situation because they think that they've done the research and blah blah blah, but actually you're wrong. Or you might be. We'll see. We'll debate it out.
That's all for this episode. The Vault is now closed. Just a disclaimer, The Vault is just a chat on life and money topics. We are not giving financial advice.